Yeah. How do you describe the balance between creating a new category versus latching onto an existing market, right?
Yeah.
You talk about this idea of you can't just force it down people's throat, so to speak, right? Like they
Yeah.
have to sort of accept it. And like I'm wondering, what does that balance look like between a push and pull? Like, were there times at Gainsight where you would, put out a blog post or put out a philosophy of customer success, and the customer was like, "Nope, that I don't agree with that."
I'm sure there was. I don't have a lot of like great anecdotes, but most definitely there were things we did that didn't resonate. Um, but I think actually, come to think of it, the posture we took in as a brand wasn't one of saying we are the experts at this. It was
Mhm.
one as we are the facilitators of this new movement, and all of you are the co-authors, and we're going to help all of us get to that next stage. So I'm not directly answering your question. I'll get to that in a second. But like that is, I think, an important nuance that when you're creating something new, claiming that you're the expert in something new is false. But building sort of the platform so that everyone from a small company that's building customer success from the ground up and dealing with like, how do I scale my team of 3 to be able to manage our customer base, to Cisco or Microsoft, hiring 10,000 CSMs. The range of use cases and best practices is so wide, we would be foolish to say that we know it all. But we could get all these people together and have them share their story on stage on a conference, on a podcast, on a blog, whatever the case is. So I think that's an important nuance. But your question, I believe, was like, how do you know to do this? What's the difference between this and disrupting something that's already existing? And I think the main difference is this. In a disruption motion, you have a problem that is pretty widely understood. Like it makes a lot of sense that closing your sales target, hitting your sales number is hard, and you have to do it in order to grow your company, right? And so, or exist as a company. So that's a well understood problem. Now there's thousands of vendors that offer solutions to help you do that. And you can just think of any marketscape, certainly in the marketing tech, that shows you all of the different slices of how solutions can solve that problem. So your job as a marketer in this case is to either take a challenger position against whoever is leading that market, or be the leader in that market. Well, one of the two kind of options, right? In category creation, or in a category creation motion, you're starting to position a problem that people don't know they have yet. And that's the complexity, is that you almost have 2 products. You have the problem and positioning the problem enough and evangelizing the problem, educating the world that this is a problem worth solving, and also positioning your solutions as a way to sort of address that. And that's where I think this becomes really, really complex. So, we all felt the pain of, I don't know, calling a cab if you're not in New York City, where it's super easy to call a cab, or like there's no way we're paying for a black car or whatever, like car service, but we just need to get from point A to point B. I grew up again in Los Angeles, being able to take a cab was something we just never really did. We didn't think about this idea of a Uber-like service or a Lyft-like service. And so they position the problem saying, like, this is actually fundamentally broken. There needs to be a much easier way for folks to get from point A to point B, in a way that's cost efficient and fast and safe and all of these different kind of things. So a good portion of their marketing engine isn't just here's a great product, but it's here's why safety matters when driving, or when traveling. So anyway, that's just one kind of example, but that's, I think, the trick with creating a category. It's how do you sort of spin up your resources to do, when you're a small team, especially, to position both a problem set as well as a product.